Hello, mates.
Hi, everybody.
How's it going?
I'm not infected.
That you know of.
That I know of.
That you know of. These last couple of weeks have been pretty... Nothing's really happened.
No, because we don't really want to go outside.
No, we were going to, go bowling or something this weekend, but then, with the end of the world upon us...
Yeah, then things happened. So, here we are.
But we'll save that for later in the episode. We did go and do our investigation. I don't think we've done an episode since then.
No, we did, and the results were...
A little bit creepy.
A little bit creepy.
Yeah, but you'll have to wait for the video.
Yeah, we're not going to really say much more than that. We are top-notch ghost hunters, that's what I will say.
Yeah, 100%.
The best.
What else did we do? Absolutely nothing.
No, absolutely nothing.
No, more of my shoots are being cancelled because of this fucking virus.
And the weather.
The weather's not too bad today.
Well, it was hailing biblically earlier, but...
It was, and with fucking locusts in Africa,
yeah.
If the dead start rising, then that's it. This is how it ends.
It's not like there's 4 horsemen or anything.
Yeah, which we are one short of.
Are we, though? Are we?
We don't have war.
Not anymore, we don't.
No, but, we don't have...
We don't currently have war,
do we? We don't currently. Well,
no.
Obviously, there's, wars everywhere all the time, but nothing like World War scale.
No. So, there's that, I suppose.
There is, but yeah, we are one horse short of the apocalypse.
Yeah. Maybe that's what we should rename ourselves to, One Horse Short of the Apocalypse.
That's a really good name, actually.
There you go.
Yeah.
Rebranding coming soon.
Yeah. Maybe do a mini series on YouTube or something, just where we talk about shit that's really going bad.
Yeah. As opposed to the podcast where we don't talk about shit that's really going bad.
Yeah, true. Why are you coughing?
Why? I had a tickly throat, that's all.
That's how it starts. Cut to 2 seconds earlier, Craig Matthews, I'm not infected.
Yeah.
But, no, normally this is where we would talk about the stuff that we've done or stuff
chat
that
shit for 10 minutes.
But there's really not much to say. We've not been doing anything.
No, I mean, everything's getting cancelled around us as well.
Yeah,
which doesn't really help.
We're supposed to go to Ibiza at the start of May. That looks like it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
We're supposed to go see Rammstein in Belfast in June.
Who knows about that?
And My Chemical Romance are cancelling tours all over the place.
Yeah, so who knows about that as well?
But, yeah, so we're left with 2 weeks of holiday days.
Which would be nice.
That, we could take, or we could just take to move into the new house.
Yeah.
When that eventually...
When that happens.
When that eventually comes through. Which will be super exciting. I've got a Pinterest board of all the stuff for our new house.
The Pinterest board of many things.
Yeah, we're going to have an industrial...
Is it the Pinterest board before the Pinterest board?
No, it's just the Pinterest board. It's the Pinterest board.
Pinterest time.
You've been watching too much Jersey Shore.
Yeah.
We finished seasons 1 to 6.
We watched the Jersey Shore before the Jersey Shore.
We did. We watched the Jersey Shore before the Jersey Shore.
Oh,
so now
dear.
we're on Jersey Shore family vacation.
Oh dear.
And we also watched A Double Shot of Love with Pauly D and Vinny. And then after we watch Jersey Shore Family Vacation, we're going to move on to Snooki and JWoww.
No, put my foot down. No.
But you made me watch Avengers last night, and I didn't really enjoy it.
It's not really my problem, is it?
Well, it's not really my problem that you claim when we're in front of people that you don't like Jersey Shore, when really...
I tolerate it.
When we're in the house all on our own, you're here quoting Pauly D thinking you're some kind of Guido.
No. Stop calling me out on air. I don't appreciate it.
It's true.
It's just because it's true. It doesn't mean I appreciate it happening.
Craig Matthews, Guido in training.
Literally the palest man to ever walk the earth.
Yeah. Shall we move on to know that actually happened?
Yeah.
Do you want to go first?
Can do. Mine is a secret World War II bunker that was found in Scotland. So, the bunker itself, it's just a bunker. But the interesting thing about it is why the bunker's there. So the bunker was there as part of a last-ditch effort plan against if the Nazis invaded.
Yeah.
So if the Nazis invaded, there was a scheme in place, which was basically, they were called Churchill's Secret Army, a secretive group, and they would just wage guerrilla warfare to make life as difficult as possible for the Nazis.
Guerrilla like King Kong?
No. That would be cool, but no. And the unit was actually dubbed Scallywags because they were really unconventional warfare types.
Nice.
So, and they had these bunkers everywhere, and there's not many of them left apart from this one in Scotland that was accidentally found. And it was only a small thing.
When was it found?
It was found. It was found. It was found. It doesn't actually say when it was found.
No?
No. But it was found in Scotland when they were clearing land for like a new development or something.
I'm assuming it's pretty recent because it's a recent kind of
Yeah.
story.
Yeah. So it's interesting that there were these plans in place just in case the Nazis got as far as to totally take over the country.
Yeah.
Then it would be like an English resistance type thing where people would be like blowing up convoys and sabotaging things and generally making a nuisance of themselves. The life expectancy of the unit was 12 days.
That's pretty shit.
So that was what they were expected to live for once activated, 12 days.
What's the point?
Because they were doing such like high stakes stuff. So
High stakes stuff.
high stakes stuff. So it's just an interesting look into what could have happened
Yeah.
if
Well, we may still need it.
well, if things had gone a different way. Like, so the bunker was 23 feet long by 10 feet wide, and you're supposed to fit 7 people in there.
20 feet.
23 feet long
Yeah.
and 10 foot wide.
You can fit 7 people in there,
So
no
seven
problem.
7 people and gear and stuff.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't surprise me if there was more of these bunkers hidden all across Europe.
Of course there would
Like
be.
hidden bunkers that were never put
Yeah.
on maps and things.
Yeah.
So that would be interesting to find.
Tis what it is.
It is what it is, I suppose. We might all need these bunkers soon anyway.
Yeah. So my know that actually happened. No shock. Comes from coast to coast. And eerie black rain falls on Japanese cities.
I wanted this one. It sounded cool as fuck.
I chose them both, so fuck you.
Fuck you, bitch.
So residents in several Japanese cities were left fearing the worst when an eerie black rain fell from the sky.
Isn't that a song, Black Rain?
No, it's purple rain.
Oh. That would be even more confusing.
Purple rain.
Purple Rain.
So people were obviously thinking, like, with the current situation, it's the fucking end of days. Like, they're not far wrong.
There's a lot of that kind of thinking going around, really, isn't there?
There is, yeah. But basically there was, like, black puddles in the roads and on cars and shit. And it was just big mess.
Yeah. Bad time.
Theories were offered of what could have caused the black rain, which was described as resembling oil.
Oil?
Yeah. Some worried observers wondered if the phenomenon could have the result of some kind of radioactivity. They did some tests and it turns out that was not the case.
Well, that's good.
Others thought that the rain was caused by North Korea firing a missile, and some other people put forward the idea that the phenomenon was a result of officials secretly burning bodies as a result of the current situation.
Nice. Did they ever get to the bottom of what it was?
They did. Turns out there was a big fire, not far away.
Ah, so it's all just soot and stuff.
Yeah, like smoky rain. So not too weird, but like, you know, it's a bit of like
a solid 3 out of 10 on the well, we're fucked scale.
yeah. But like, if I saw black rain, I would also freak out.
Yeah. I used to frequently get black rain on my car when I lived in the UK, actually.
Did you? Why?
From the steelworks.
Oh, ew.
So, when I used to park my car there, it'd either get burnt or it'd get black rain on it.
Nice.
So, there you go.
Apparently outside my work, people get like, not so much anymore because the people who were next door to us moved, but they used to do like angle grinding and shit.
And you get sparks.
The sparks all used to like burn the people's cars and
yeah,
stuff.
that used to happen to my car.
So
You could see like the burn marks in the paint where all the hot dust has come out the top of the furnaces and landed on it again.
Yeah.
So, ruined my car, it did.
So it did.
So it did.
Okay, let's move on to the episode. Let's get it out of the way.
Yeah.
We're not going to blame you if you don't want to listen to this one. It's one of those things, isn't it?
Yeah. What are we talking about, Laura?
We are talking about what's currently going on in the world. The pandemic panic.
The pandemic, is that what you're calling this?
I think
the
I might
pandemic
do,
panic?
yeah. I think I might do, yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. It's the coronavirus.
Or specifically COVID-19.
Yeah. So it's, I don't know, like, I feel like, you know, because when we started researching this episode 3 weeks ago, it wasn't even this episode.
No.
We decided to do something else.
Yep.
Got to last week, realised, fuck, we don't have enough here for an actual episode.
Yep.
Then decided, right, let's do another episode.
Let's do current affairs.
No, we didn't. We got to the last week and we had a plan to do another episode. And we realised, fuck, there's too much. So, like, we went from having not enough to too much. And we'd end up sitting here for like 3 or 4 hours talking about it unless we split it into 2 episodes.
Yeah.
Which we didn't really want to do at the moment. So then we thought, fuck it. There's an abundance of shit on this right now. Let's go for this.
And the joy of it is, it just is the more research I even did today, the worse it got.
Yeah.
Like,
because we started this Friday.
Yeah.
Since we started this on Friday, we're recording this on Sunday.
Things have changed again.
Things have changed so much. So it's an ongoing thing, but we thought we'd kind of throw our 2 cents in there.
Yeah.
If you don't want to listen to this, if you hate our politics, get the fuck out. Basically, this one isn't for you. So, should we go?
Go for it.
So, we're going to start with, what is the coronavirus or COVID-19? So, the coronavirus is a name for a family of respiratory viruses that are transmitted between animals and people.
Yep.
The specific one we're talking about is COVID-19.
Mm-hmm. But there have been others.
There have been others. I can't think of any right now.
SARS, MERS.
SARS wasn't a coronavirus.
SARS was a coronavirus.
Was it?
Yeah. SARS was a coronavirus.
Fair enough.
It's similar. I think SARS is similar anyway.
Yeah.
But SARS and MERS and things like that. I think coronavirus can cause colds as well.
Yeah.
So I read.
So COVID-19 is a pandemic that is currently going on in the world, as we all know, I'm sure.
I'm sure.
And it originated in Wuhan, China, apparently.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get to that later.
Yeah.
The symptoms are very similar to the common flu, so you have coughing, fever, shortness of breath, etc., etc.
Yeah.
Some of the rare symptoms are headaches, fatigue, and nausea.
Nice.
Can...
Like flu.
Yeah.
Like flu.
So I did this part I wrote yesterday, and there was 148,000 cases.
Yeah.
There's now well over 150,000 cases.
Yeah.
In less than 24 hours. There's also been close to 6,000 deaths.
Something like that.
Yesterday there was 5,500. That's gone up significantly today. But in a positive way, there is almost 80,000 recoveries.
Yeah. People do seem to be recovering from it.
Yeah. So the life or death ratio is
very low.
It's very low, but
it's there.
It's there.
Like on Friday, I think it was 120,000 total cases.
Yeah.
And now it's 150 something thousand.
Yeah.
In 48 hours.
Like I was saying this to you earlier, it was the Spanish flu, which was a huge pandemic.
Yeah.
That took 2.5 years to infect the amount of people that it did.
Yeah.
This is 3 months. 3 months ago, there was no graph or chart.
No, it was 1 or 2 people that we know of.
Yeah.
So.
And in 3 months, we're closing in on 200,000.
Yeah. It wouldn't surprise me if we hit 200,000 by the middle of the week.
Yeah. By Paddy's Day, I'd say.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. But there's also a story doing the rounds of a 101-year-old Chinese man who recently recovered from the virus.
Well, that's good.
I saw that.
Yeah, that's good.
But the most at risk are the very young and the elderly.
Yeah, I saw a story of a baby in the UK just born that had it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. The elderly kind of being those over 80 years old.
Yeah.
Others at risk are those who have underlying health conditions like diabetes, asthma, heart conditions, lung conditions, those kinds of things.
Anyone with a sort of weakened immune system.
But if you think of these people who are most at risk, we all know someone like that.
Yeah.
We all, like, I have friends with no thyroid.
Yeah. Or friends with asthma or...
Yeah. My mum has lung issues.
Yeah,
So that's what makes it really scary is it's and there's also people who are really healthy.
That are getting it.
That are getting it really bad.
Yeah.
And there's also people who have no symptoms at all and are just carriers.
They're just carrying it.
For it, so... Yeah.
Fun times. So, it's hard to talk about this outbreak without talking about where it supposedly originated from.
Yeah.
So, just a bit of background on Wuhan City. Because it's somewhere I never heard of before.
It's apparently like a massive city.
It's huge.
And I've never heard of it.
I've never heard of it before in my life, so it's just a bit of a background. So it's actually a relatively new city. It was formed in 1949 when the government merged 3 other cities, older cities, together.
Yeah.
And they were, I'm going to butcher these, Hankou, Hanyang and Wuchang, I think. I'm sorry. I can't do it. I just can't, basically. So those 3 cities merged and they formed Wuhan as we know it now, which is the capital of the Hubei province. Hubei province, which sits on the Yangtze River. The Yangtze and the Han Rivers, sorry.
The Han River, isn't that like the big massive one that like flows all the way through China?
I think that's the Yangtze.
Are you sure?
Yeah, because I think the Han's a tributary of the Yangtze.
I thought it was the other way around.
I might be wrong. But
I might be wrong.
Either or both of us could be wrong. It's had a very turbulent history, as cities go. It actually served as the capital of China during the Second Sino-Japanese War.
So no more Shanghai?
No, the capital of China is Beijing.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Oh, well.
So when the Japanese were invading and the Chinese were getting pushed back, this was the capital.
Okay.
And as a result, when the Japanese occupied it, it got heavily bombed by the Americans.
Right.
And it's just had a very turbulent history.
Right.
Like, there's been protests and all kinds. Even the Tiananmen Square protests, which apparently never happened, but we all know they did. There was a lot of student protests in the city as well at the same time.
Yeah.
And things like that. So, it's because of its location, it's been the site of many, 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 many devastating floods. Like, huge floods. I think the water's gotten as high to like 2 or 3 stories before.
China does get a lot of floods, though, doesn't it?
It does, and that's why...
As a whole.
Yeah, that's why they built the Three Gorges Dam, as amongst other things.
Yeah.
So, interesting fact, Three Gorges Dam has actually slowed down the rotation of the Earth a little bit, because it's that big.
Okay.
So, there you go.
Why?
Because it's holding back the sheer amount of water that it is.
Yeah.
It's like having a dampening effect on the Earth's rotation.
Oh.
So it's actually slowed the Earth down a little bit.
That's fucking interesting.
There you go. It's, as we said, it's massive. There's a population of around 11 million people in the city.
Like, when all this first broke out, they were like, oh, Wuhan, China. And I'm like, okay, maybe like a couple of thousand people. And then I actually looked into it and I was shook.
Yeah.
Shook.
Well, for a good comparison, Ireland has a population of around 6.5 million people.
So it has more people than the entirety of Ireland?
Yes.
Right.
In one city.
Okay.
So it's massive. And like you said, it's considered the political, economic, financial, commercial, cultural and educational centre of central China.
Yeah.
So it's pretty important. It's a big place.
Shows how much we know.
Exactly, I didn't know any of this.
I thought it was like a little fishing town.
Yeah, no, it's huge. It's got a massive industrial manufacturing centre, which is mainly iron and steel. Got huge iron and steel works there.
I think Lenovo have a massive plant there in China as well. Yeah.
Several car manufacturers do.
Yeah.
Including the Chinese Citroen operation, GM, loads of places do.
I think Toyota do as well.
Yeah, huge. It's massive. They've got like 5 business technology parks and things like that.
Yeah.
It's enormous. And there's 35 higher education facilities. So like universities or university campuses.
I know what they are. I'm just trying to think, is that a lot or is that not a lot?
It's quite a lot, really.
Yeah, I suppose, yeah.
Like,
for a city, yeah, okay, for a city. So let's go back to December 2019 and we'll chat about how this started and everything like that. So on the 31st of December 2019, WHO is the World Health Organization.
Yeah.
Not the WHO.
Not the WHO. Well, I'm sure the WHO are not particularly happy either.
No. So WHO in China was informed of a growing number of cases of pneumonia without a known cause.
Yes.
And it wasn't until the 12th of January, after some investigating, that they found out that the outbreak was associated with exposures in one seafood market in Wuhan.
Yeah.
So this market, I saw photos of it. It's packed solid. The aisles are no wider than, I'd say, 6 feet.
Wow.
Everyone's packed into, like sardines into these aisles trying to buy their shit. And it's outdoors. So, here we go. Even though the name is the Wuhan Seafood Market, it doesn't just sell seafood.
Is it one of those live food markets?
Yeah, it's a live food, live animal trading kind of thing. So they often trade animals such as like snakes, bats, dogs, and they're both live and dead. Because unfortunately dogs are
food in
China. So these types of markets put people and animals that are dead or alive in very close proximity. So this makes it very easy for zoonotic, which is the name of the fucking like coronavirus, is zoonotic.
That's a good word.
Yeah. That means like viruses and shit that can travel between animals and humans. Zoonotic diseases to jump from animals to humans. That's how easy it is. But we still don't know where it came from. Yeah,
they're not actually sure, are they? They think it's bats, don't they?
No. Originally it was thought to come from snakes.
Yeah.
But on the 12th of January again, in 2020, China shared the genetic sequence of this COVID-19. The genetic sequence is 96% similar to that found in bats.
Yeah.
Which is where the common theory that bats started it. But even though it's similar, it doesn't mean that it's the case.
Yeah, I think we share a lot of our genetic sequence with bananas, so...
Like, You think like, no, it's 96% similar with bats.
Yeah.
It must be that. No, that might not be the case at all. It's still being investigated and debated. Okay, so why does it spread so easily? I went full on like science Laura with this one.
Oh wow, we've got science Laura.
I did.
Oh shit,
I
son.
went proper fucking science on this. We don't know why it spreads so easily. There are so many theories, but the one that I found that sticks out to me the most is that the virus uses something called a spike protein to latch onto its host.
Right.
This spike protein can only be activated when it comes into contact with an enzyme called furin.
Okay.
Which is conveniently what we have in a lot of our vital organs, like our intestines, our lungs, kidneys, heart and shit like that. Mainly found in the lungs, which is why it kind of attacks your respiratory system, because that's
where it's activated.
And if you think about it, if you breathe in these particles and this virus, your lungs are going to be the first thing it hits. So it reacts and attaches to the furin in your lungs and just spreads.
Yeah.
So this is kind of what makes it different from SARS and the flu, is there's no spike enzyme to react with the furin. So that's what makes it different.
It's a different sort of infection way.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a different way to infect. So if you think of it this way, coughing, sneezing, all that kind of stuff on people, that's the prime way to spread the virus. Yeah. And it's not just between person to person. The virus can live on surfaces for 2 to 3 days.
Yeah.
So say if you're on public transport and you touch a railing or something that someone who's infected has just coughed on or sneezed on, and then touch your eyes or your mouth, or...
It's getting in there.
Yeah. You know, like we all like kind of rub our nose, rub our eyes, without washing your hands first or sanitizing your hands, like, you're fucked.
Yeah,
like,
you're gonna get it.
You're up shit's creek then, like. So, remember at first, no one was taking it seriously.
Yeah.
So why is it now being taken so seriously? I came up with a couple of reasons. Just me.
Just you.
Just me.
Just you.
Reason number one is the infection rate. We said earlier that the Spanish flu, which was a massive pandemic, that took 2.5 years to infect the number of people that it did. Even the common, like, seasonal flu doesn't infect people this badly.
Yeah, it's very infectious.
And 3 months ago, the virus wasn't on anyone's radar.
No.
It wasn't even a thing. It wasn't on any charts.
No.
Or anything like that. And now we're closing in on 200,000 people being infected and almost 6,000 dead. Like,
when you just think of pure numbers compared to like the amount of people in the world and stuff, it doesn't sound that mad.
Yeah.
But when you think it's taken 3 months to do that.
Yeah.
And if you were to give it like an exponential growth, what's it going to be in the next 3 months? Or the next 3 months?
Yeah. The only thing I think that's in our favour now is we've seen what it can do to places like China, Italy, closing in on Spain now as well.
Yeah.
So I think other countries now are going to act in a way that we don't want to be those countries.
No.
We don't want to be Italy. We don't want to be China. We don't want to be Spain.
But the danger is that it's like the Spanish flu. It's going to take a couple of years to get bad.
Yeah.
So this time next year...
I don't think so.
We don't know though, do we?
I feel like it'll be gone. It will take a little bit, but I feel like it will be gone.
So you're like, we don't know though. We couldn't say one way or the other.
So another reason why it's being taken so seriously is we still don't know anything about it. We don't know where it came from. There's no vaccine. There's no treatment. We just have to hope for the best.
Yeah, I mean, there are vaccines in development, but a lot of them are months away. Months at least away. I think some of them are only just getting into testing stages now.
Yeah.
So we don't know how well they work, how they react with the body. We just,
And the thing is like, people, they're not dying from COVID-19. They're dying from shit like pneumonia.
Yeah.
And, like, your lungs giving in.
Yeah.
So it's not the virus that kills you.
It's the after effects of the virus.
So reason number 3 that's being taken so seriously is the fact that we haven't seen anything like this.
No. I mean, I've been around for foot and mouth. I've been around for SARS. I've been around for MERS. Swine flu, bird flu.
Zika virus.
Ebola. Dangerous diseases. The one that's come the closest to this one was foot and mouth.
I think swine flu was pretty...
Swine flu was pretty bad, but it wasn't this bad. Like, there wasn't talk of lockdowns and things like that.
No.
Foot and mouth is the closest I think that's come to this. And that was because it spread so fast in animals. I
think I was too young to remember foot and mouth.
Yeah.
But like we haven't seen anything.
No,
anything
not
like
in
this
not in recent time anyway.
Like I keep reading something on Facebook, and it's like 1820 had a plague outbreak, 1920 had a plague outbreak. Here we are in 2020.
Like it's been a while since we've seen something this bad.
Yeah, absolutely. But like, I think with the other ones as well, like Ebola and shit, as they managed to get contained.
Yeah, they were contained quickly.
This is just
this has not been contained.
This is balls to the wall, like, fuck everyone.
Yeah, this has not been contained. It was the same with SARS and MERS as well. They were, because I think they weren't transmitted anyways easily.
Yeah.
Like, they got contained pretty quickly. I mean, still people suffered and whatnot, but it wasn't this kind of level. And I think the thing with, like, Ebola is that it's, on the outside, it's a much scarier virus.
Yeah,
like,
absolutely.
People have, like, blood coming from their eyes and shit.
Yeah.
You know, it doesn't sound as scary as something that's kind of like flu, but a bit worse.
I think that's what made people not take it so seriously at the start. It's like, oh, it's just a bad flu. Like, fuck off.
They're like, well, no, actually.
So another reason is, I kind of touched on it before, is that people can just be carriers.
Yeah.
You did it to me when you kept coming over from the UK.
Yeah, it wasn't with
No, obviously it wasn't with coronavirus, but like, you used to bring the flu to me all the time, and I used to get very sick.
Yeah.
Because you don't get sick that often.
No.
And to be fair, like, I haven't been sick.
No, you've... No.
Oh, touch wood, touch wood, touch wood.
Touch. Like,
I haven't been sick that much at all.
No.
I think
because you're used to me now.
But, like, yeah, people can be carriers of COVID-19. They can walk around with no symptoms at all. It's mainly children, like, between 5 and 10, I think they say.
Kick the baby.
Kick the baby. So, yeah, it's all kind of fucked up. So.
Yeah. So, as the virus first, like, broke out in China, we'll talk about what the Chinese response was for it straight away. And, unfortunately, the first reaction was to kind of cover shit up, basically.
I think they didn't want because, like, I don't think they wanted all the attention on them, and they were like, because they're very...
secretive.
Not even that, like, I think the Chinese and Asian culture in general is, like, no shame, like, don't bring shame on yourselves, your family. I think it kind of goes back to that a bit, I think. Yeah.
So, this started on the 30th of December, so the day before they declared it to the World Health Organization. Yeah, and so what happened was, it was the sad case of a Dr. Li Wenlang. I'm butchering it, I'm sorry. Now, Dr. Li warned his medical school classmates of a new contagious virus that he'd been seeing in several patients on the 30th of December. And then on the 31st, the Chinese authorities informed the World Health Organization of, like you said, pneumonia caused by an unknown cause.
Yeah.
However, around the same time, Dr. Li was arrested for rumour-mongering, with all of his posts deleted by the state.
Oh, dirty bastard.
Because obviously, like, people are so integrated in China. I think I've mentioned this before, how, like, Chinese society works like this, is you are fully integrated and the state can just monitor and do everything.
Yeah. So that's like, they don't have WhatsApp, they don't have
No, they have
Facebook.
They have WeChat.
WeChat, that's
and
it.
it's state monitored.
Yeah.
So he did this, it all got scrubbed. Now, he was released on the 3rd of January after signing a police document admitting that he had committed an illegal act by making, quote, untrue statements on social media and promising that he would earnestly reflect on his mistakes. So, there you go. After they detained Dr. Li, the Wuhan police appeared on Chinese state television to warn the public about the dangers of spreading rumours, and in a coordinated state media push, they urged internet users across the country not to believe online rumours and help build a, quote, clear and bright cyberspace.
I call bullshit.
So,
bullshit.
Deny.
There's another Jersey Shore reference.
Yeah, well, what can you do? By this time, 44 were confirmed infected, with probably many more unconfirmed.
Yeah.
And it would be another 3 weeks before any more action was taken. On the 23rd of January, the city of Wuhan begins its lockdown by shutting down public transport. On this day, the World Health Organization decided not to declare a public health emergency.
See, like, you said it perfect earlier. What was that thing you read on Reddit?
Any action you take before a pandemic is deemed over the top.
Yeah.
And any action you take after a pandemic is deemed not enough.
Like, I feel they didn't know how bad this was.
No, they probably didn't.
They just thought it was something like the flu, which is what we all thought.
Yeah.
Because I remember back in January, I was like, oh, fuck it.
I was making jokes about it.
So was I.
I
was like, it's going to stay on that side of the world and we don't need to worry. And now look at us.
Yeah, now
on
here
fucking
we are.
lockdown.
But to their credit, on January the 30th, the World Health Organization changed its mind and declared an emergency. Yeah. By now, the virus had begun to make its way into Europe, with many countries starting to put travel restrictions in place against people who travelled to specifically that part of China. In that amount of time, the total number of confirmed infected had gone from 44 to 7,816.
In how many days?
In between the between like the 4th of January and the 28th of January.
Shit. And now we're on fucking closing in on 200,000. Like,
so now China admits that there's a problem, and because China's a communist state with a centralised government, things can get mobilised very quickly.
Yeah.
But they had to wait until the Chinese leader authorised it, which is another bit of a delay then.
Of course, yeah.
So he's got to be seen to have done it himself.
Yeah.
And I can't help but if any of you have seen the HBO series Chernobyl, and you're looking at the reaction that the Soviet government took against it,
yeah,
it's very, very similar.
You're treading on thin ice there, boy.
Like, it's very, very similar.
You are treading on thin ice.
No spoilers, just saying.
No, like you're comparing Chinese to Soviet Russia?
Well, they're both communist.
Yeah, but like you just don't say that.
It's fine. Don't worry about it. It's
okay.
Fine. It's fine. And just to like show how effective the Chinese were, because they were very effective in containing it, 2 brand new hospitals were built in Wuhan in 10 days, specifically to treat victims of the virus.
Good.
Like, I think they were like 1,400 capacity hospitals, like.
Yeah.
And they were built within 10 days.
Mm.
And how long have we been waiting for Dublin Children's Hospital now? Like, so that kind of organisation of manpower and materials did work in the Chinese's favour, and they were able to very quickly build up these things to help care for people.
Yeah.
What are unconfirmed, but I do remember seeing, is that there were huge disinfection teams roaming around the empty city, like tankers with big sprays on and people spraying the sidewalk to get rid of the infection and stuff.
What I did see as well is, now I don't know how true this is, it was just what I saw on like Facebook.
Yeah.
Someone took a video of Chinese like police or military or something literally dragging people off the trains for coughing.
Yeah.
Dragging them, tackling them to the ground, hitting them and taking them away.
We can't confirm that because it's hard to confirm things like that.
But like, it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah. So, and they say their lockdowns are serious lockdowns.
Their lockdowns are actual lockdowns.
Like, once the city was told to quarantine, it quarantined.
Yeah.
Nothing was in, nothing was out, people were inside. Mm-hmm. And it was enforced by things like WeChat. Yeah. Because they can actually track where you are through WeChat.
Oh.
And they can track how you're paying for things as well, because it's all integrated.
Yeah.
So if they see someone who they know is infected going out and buying things and out and about, they will arrest them.
Yeah.
That's how their quarantine was so effective. And it did work. Like, their aggressive quarantine methods definitely slowed the spread of the virus, but at the same time, the censorship and arrest of doctors trying to warn people didn't help.
Yeah.
And there's an estimation I saw that because of this, it hampered the effect, like, to beat the virus by about 2 months.
Yeah.
Because of how censored everyone was in the beginning.
And, like, full transparency, like, China's cases have gone right down.
Yeah. Yeah, there's more infections happening outside of China than there is inside China now.
There's more recoveries happening inside China now than anywhere else, which is phenomenal.
So their aggressive sort of centralised response, where they can just mobilise insane amounts of resources and manpower, mainly because they're not having to buy it or anything, they're just turning up at the factories and going, we're taking that or we're going to shoot you, basically.
But, like, that works out in their favour.
It works because they can do all this stuff.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
They can build a hospital in 10 days.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy.
Okay, so another really badly hit place was Italy.
Yeah.
So COVID-19, it quickly started to spread outside of China.
Yeah.
Like, very quickly. End of January, start of February, it started going really bad. On February 14th, France announced its first COVID-19 related death outside of Asia. So the first death outside of Asia in general happened in France.
Yeah.
It was an 80-year-old Chinese tourist. And COVID-19 quickly started spreading within Europe, stemming from people travelling from Wuhan and other infected areas. That's how it happened. That's where China didn't act fast enough.
Yeah.
I feel. Like, I think in northern Italy, there was a conference with a lot of people from Wuhan attending.
Yeah.
That was still allowed to go ahead. Italy announced its first case in January, with their third case not being announced until the 6th of February.
Yeah.
Which was the first Italian citizen. The first two were, again, Chinese tourists.
Yeah, Chinese visitors.
By the 22nd of February, their cases had soared to 70. This was also the day of the first 2 deaths related to COVID-19.
Wow.
A day later, on the 23rd of February, that was up to 152.
Like, that's getting crazy.
And that is how we are in Ireland right now.
Yeah. Well, they reckon we're about a week or two behind Italy.
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
2 weeks. So on the 23rd of February as well, the Italian government placed 50,000 people on lockdown. The rise in cases kind of also saw infections in other countries relating to travel from Italy.
Yeah.
Due to Italy being a massive tourist destination as a whole. And with one of the infected regions being like a really popular ski...
It was like northern Italy, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a really popular ski retreat. Like, loads of Europeans like going there to go fucking skiing and shit. By the 29th of February, the number of cases in Italy had reached over 1,000. So 6 days it went from just over 100
to just over 1,000.
To just over 1,000. On the 4th of March, Italy closed all schools and encouraged people to work from home. Yeah. Which is currently what we've done.
That's the position we're in now, isn't it?
By the 9th of March, Italy completely locked down the country, placing several million people in complete lockdown. They're not allowed to leave their homes, only to like go out and buy food and shit. Italy, they quickly became like the leading example across Europe, with kind of loads more countries kind of following suit. Yeah. Including Ireland, you know, closing schools and banning large gatherings. The situation across Europe is like changing on a daily basis. Yeah. We just don't know how it'll play out.
Like, I could sit here and look at r/coronavirus and tell you different things about what's happening in minute, Europe, and it'll change minute to minute.
Spain, France and Germany have all issued states of emergency, and no doubt other countries will as well.
I'm sure they will do soon. Spain, actually, I told you about this earlier, didn't I? There was a load of Jet2 flights from the UK to Spain just before they declared the national emergency, and as they declared it, these flights turned around in the air and flew back.
That's crazy.
Like, that's unprecedented.
I've never seen anything like this.
No, I haven't either.
And like, we might not be able to go to Ibiza.
Oh. But no, seriously, like, it's a very, very strange time.
Yeah, absolutely.
So I'm going to talk about the UK and Ireland's response to it. And I'm going to start with the motherland. So the UK's response.
That's not our motherland anymore.
It's my motherland.
No, it's not.
Right, anyway. The UK's response so far, it's not been particularly...
There has been no response.
Okay, I'll refresh. The lack of response so far has been particularly frustrating. What they have asked to do is they've asked people with it to self-isolate for 14 days, and that includes people who've been travelling to affected areas and things like that.
But there's no enforcement. They're not going to do that.
No, they're not enforcing it.
Like, if people have to choose between self-isolating and going to work, making money to pay their fucking bills, they're not going to do that.
That's the other interesting thing. There has been changes to statutory sick pay laws, where before you'd have to wait for 4 days before you were on statutory sick pay, but now you only have to wait 1 day. Yeah. And other things like that, but it only applies to a certain amount of the population. So the other amount of population, say people on like 0-hour contracts who don't qualify for statutory sick pay, which is quite a few people. Yeah. They have been advised to apply for job seekers benefit or other benefits or universal credit.
Which is like, what, 20 quid a week?
It's not even the amount, it's the fact that to apply to universal credit there's a 6-week wait before you get any money, regardless. Even if, no matter how you're accepted or not.
That's so backwards.
There's a 6-week wait before you get any money.
Like, I respect other countries and how they're dealing with it. Because it's unprecedented,
Yeah.
No one really knows what to do. Like, Ireland, they're kind of doing the right thing, but the UK is absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah. So, as it stands now, like we've said, they are ridiculous, I agree. As it stands now, schools and public buildings are not being instructed to close, but some seem to be choosing to.
Putting that kind of choice on the people and the institutions, that's not right.
No.
Making people choose between making money and helping save people's lives, like, that's not.
So, and large events that haven't been cancelled by the organisers are still going ahead. Like, I think there's a half marathon going on in Brighton in the next couple of days.
And don't get me fucking started about Cheltenham.
So, yeah, the less said about Cheltenham, the better. How many people were there?
30,000.
30,000 people were at Cheltenham.
And that was allowed to go ahead.
So, the UK's approach seems to be based around herd immunity, but it's not at the same time. The government isn't actually saying it's based around herd immunity. What they're saying is that they are waiting to implement tougher measures when they are needed so people actually follow them.
Bullshit!
But a lot of the scientific community seems to be under the impression that it's based around herd immunity. So, just to give you an idea of how herd immunity would work, rough estimates indicate that herd immunity would occur when 60% of the population has had the disease and recovered from it.
Yeah.
The UK has a population of 66.87 million, so a natural herd immunity would occur at least 40.12 million people having had the disease and recovered from it.
That's fucking scary.
So, like, the greater scientific community thinks this is a shit idea.
Of course it is.
Basically.
You don't have to be a scientist to realise that's a shit idea.
And which is probably why the UK government isn't out and out saying that it's basing it on herd immunity.
What would you expect with Boris Johnson as the fucking Prime Minister?
However, update at the time of recording,
yeah.
Literally I got this today, on the 15th, that there's been a list of actions published which comprise a, quote, wartime-like plan. Alright, so this is what's going to happen in the next couple of weeks, apparently.
Weeks might be too late.
Anyone over 70 in the UK is being put under mandatory quarantine for, quote, a number of months. All pubs and restaurants will be closing with a ban in place for gatherings of people over 500 people. And this is the one that annoyed me. The Prime Minister has ordered the NHS to buy private bed space at £300 a bed. And per day. And there are plans in place to convert hotels into emergency hospitals.
That's not a bad idea.
That isn't a bad idea, but the Prime Minister could just easily go to these hospitals and say, well, we're taking your beds, deal with it.
Yeah.
But no, I'm sure his mates in the private health industry wouldn't like that.
No.
But anyway, I'm getting distracted. The majority of schools will close to students, but there'll be a skeleton crew of people in place to care for the children of key workers, like health professionals and stuff.
That's good.
Which is a reasonable response, to be fair. And if it gets really bad, the army might be brought in to help with day-to-day life, like filling shelves and keeping petrol stations full and things like that.
There's talks of the army coming here and doing that.
The Queen has left Buckingham Palace.
She's got to stay safe.
So I'm sure there's going to be more from the UK to follow, but the current tally in the UK is 1,140 infected confirmed with 21 deaths. But even the government estimates this number could actually be 5,000 to 10,000 people infected.
Fucking hell.
So, and then we'll talk about Ireland, because Ireland's a tricky one.
Very tricky.
There's two jurisdictions on the same landmass.
Yeah.
Basically, with Northern Ireland and the Republic.
Yeah. So that means, like, we're kind of the UK's bitch in this point.
Oof.
We are, though. Like, no matter what we do here, it's going to be redundant if the North doesn't follow.
So yeah, that's difficult because of Northern Ireland and the Republic. But much in line with the rest of Europe, the Irish government has announced some measures which were on the 12th. All schools and institutions up to third level were to close until at least the 29th of March.
Yeah.
Indoor mass gatherings of 100 people were cancelled, and outdoor mass gatherings of 500 people were cancelled.
So all gigs, basically.
Yeah, basically. All gigs, all consoles, everything like
Consoles?
that. Consoles? I think like theatres and cinemas and stuff like that, they're all cancelled as well, haven't they?
Cinemas, it's a weird one with cinemas, right? You can go to the cinema, but every second seat has to be free, reducing the capacity by 50%.
Yeah. Okay.
Which is like, it's ridiculous. And the same with restaurants.
Yeah.
And you have to, I think the tables have to be a metre apart.
Yeah. All state-run cultural institutions will close. So like...
church.
No, not church. Things like museums and things like that.
Same with churches as well. There's no mass.
Yeah, masses too. All St. Patrick's Day parades have been cancelled.
Yeah.
A lot of those were cancelled before this came out, though.
Yeah, Dublin was still going to run with theirs for a while, but they cancelled.
Yeah, so
a week ago, I think.
All the Paddy's Day stuff's been cancelled. Working from home has been encouraged where possible.
Don't get me started on that.
So...
I'm not saying anything.
Yeah, don't. And to be honest, we're expecting things to change early next week.
I hope things change early next week, because there's videos flying around of people in pubs.
Oh yeah, there was like 500 people in one pub or something, wasn't there?
Yeah, which is banned.
Yeah, not really supposed to be happening.
So pubs and restaurants should be shut.
I think they're probably going to take a similar approach to this hypothetical UK approach.
I think so. I hope that... See, I just want us to follow Italy. I want to lock everything down. Yeah. No flights in or out. Everything's shut.
That's the thing, yeah. There's no screening at Dublin Airport or anything.
No screening. So all these people coming back from Cheltenham...
Yeah. Who knows what they were carrying.
Probably fucking foot and mouth as well. That's all we need.
There was a much bigger effort for foot and mouth, though, because it affected the farmers.
Of course it did.
So, there you go. I'll just quickly talk about the US response as well.
Which, it's going to be quite quick.
It's very quick, because I don't really understand the US system, for one. But, so forgive me if I'm getting some of this wrong, but on a national level, there's only really been sort of 2 courses of action, other than Donny Boy Trump's rambling statements.
Wasn't it like up until like a couple of weeks ago that he was calling it fake news?
Probably. I know there was one point that like the guy in charge of it, Mike Pence, was put in charge of it because he had nothing else better to do.
Oy.
There's also like Trump's gone and said one thing and then Mike Pence has had to contradict it saying another thing and things like that. It's very disorganised. For the US response, I'd recommend listening to a podcast called The World's Worst Year Ever.
Yeah.
They've done an episode on it. I thought we were going to be the first, but no, they beat us.
Aww.
And they've done a very sort of US-centred episode on it.
Ours is very Europe-based.
Yeah. So I'd recommend going to listen to that, and they all get very angry, and I think there's a machete involved.
Oh.
So...
Well, if the dead start rising, like, I feel like a machete is called for.
Yeah, so The Worst Year Ever, they've done a podcast episode on it. But what I can tell has happened is that a travel ban, because he does like his travel bans, and I heard a trade ban as well, which is interesting, from 26 members of the European Union to begin with. Which has now been extended to include the UK and Ireland.
Everything.
So
everything.
There's no travelling from Europe to America.
Yeah.
Basically.
Which it's... Part of my cynical mind is like, he wanted everyone... Because obviously loads of Americans are coming over here for Paddy's Day. Why only extend this ban the day before Paddy's Day?
Yeah, well...
Loads of people are already here.
Yeah.
The damage is done.
It's hard to get in the mind of Donny Trump, isn't it? Although it doesn't extend to US citizens. So US citizens are free to travel.
They're free to fly back.
Yeah.
Not to come.
I don't know. I think they're supposed to be able to come as well.
I don't think they're able.
I'd have to check that.
No,
I don't really
because
know,
I'm on a load of travel groups and they're like, oh, I can't go to Europe now. And so I think they're allowed to come back if they're already in Europe, but I don't think they're allowed to come out.
Yeah. But with this travel ban, there's huge waits for advanced screening and stuff. Like people are having to wait hours at the airport to get screened as they're coming back in and things like that.
Which is good.
That is good. And Trump's also declared a national emergency to help free up resources to help combat it, but the less we say about the US healthcare system, the better, I think.
I feel so sorry for everyone there that's going to have to pay $3,000 to be tested.
Yeah, because apparently the insurance doesn't cover it.
I'm actually disgusted.
Yeah, I've heard that a lot of insurance doesn't cover the test, so...
It's funny since that test is very new.
Yeah, there you go. But on a state level, things are being done. Like, a lot of states are banning large gatherings and taking children out of schools and things like that.
But they're in the kind of same situation as we are with the North.
Yeah.
There's a lot of different jurisdictions.
There is.
On the
Every
one
state
landmass.
has its different jurisdiction, so one state could be...
It's no good unless everyone is doing it.
Basically. So, and the US healthcare system will not help in this.
No, it needs to be public healthcare.
Yeah, but, let's not get dragged into that now, shall we?
Let's not.
Let's not. As you've said, a lot of Europe is already locked down in one way or the other.
Yeah, with more kind of coming out every day.
Yeah, more's coming every day. I think Poland's closed the borders now.
Poland's landlocked anyway.
Poland's landlocked, and I think they've closed the borders.
I think Poland is a great example to lead by, because they only had 20 cases when they decided to lock everything down.
Yeah.
They stopped all travel in or out of Poland. They stopped their screening flights that come in.
Yeah.
People are to stay in their houses and work from home where they're possible.
Yeah.
And it's a great country to take lead from, because they had so little when it started.
Yeah, but like Germany's not doing great, and
no.
As you've already said, France and Spain are not doing very well.
They're very large countries with a lot of
people,
international travel.
Yeah.
Like if you think about it, right? When we're looking at flights to like Bali or even to somewhere in Asia, there's always a stopover in Frankfurt.
Yeah.
There's a stopover in Charles de Gaulle.
Yeah.
There's a stopover in Barcelona.
Yeah.
Those 3 places, they see maximum travel footprint, basically, because there's so many layovers there that it's impossible for the airports not to be infected.
Yeah. So that means that Europe is now the new centre of the outbreak, basically.
Yeah.
There you go. The rest of the world, some parts of the world suffering, others aren't. Africa is doing surprisingly well.
Yeah, like, keep
Everyone
it up.
thought that Africa would be having a bad time, but they've only had a couple of isolated outbreaks so far.
But then you have the locusts that are just about to hit there. So.
But then there's a massive famine in place because there's a plague of locusts. So, swings and roundabouts.
The world isn't doing great right
No.
now. Like if someone could just push the, end game button on Plague Inc.
Yeah.
Like, that would be nice.
Yeah. Iran, in particular, is supposedly having a bad time. I think there's about 11,000 people infected there, confirmed.
But I think, right, wasn't it the Prime Minister of Iran?
I think it was a high-ranking minister anyway.
It was the president of Iran, I think. He was, like, on a talk show, and he was saying how, we don't have an issue with it.
And he wasn't infected.
He was coughing and shit on live TV, and then it turns out the next day that he has it.
Yeah. So,
which is, like, poetic justice, really.
I did see some satellite pictures claiming to show mass grave sites in Iran. But I can't confirm that.
I don't know.
So, Iran's not having a good time. South Korea have been suffering from it quite badly, but they've put some pretty serious controls in place, and they seem to be fighting it very well.
They do. I think they're doing quite well with it.
So they're doing well.
All things considered.
I actually messaged one of my friends. I've got a friend in South Korea. I actually messaged her today to see how she was doing, but we'll see if anything comes back from that.
Yeah.
China's actually seeing less new cases than the rest of the world now.
I think they're down to like double digits a day or something like that, which is fantastic.
So that's that aggressive quarantine that they're able to do.
Like, I just don't see why, if it's working for China, why isn't everyone else doing it?
Because the systems are so rapidly different.
Yeah.
Like a great example is the NHS having to literally buy bed space from a private hospital.
But they don't. It's just because that fucking pound shop Donald Trump said that that's what they had to do.
Pound shop Donald Trump, I love it.
I get so angry. Okay, so we kind of covered the most of the world, I think.
Yeah.
Kind of glossed over a lot of it because it is an ongoing thing. I kind of want to talk about the social issues that are kind of arising from this. So what we've seen is people panic buying.
I have never seen anything like it.
Me either.
Literally never. And we are known as panic buyers.
Like, we had a bit of snow a couple of years ago when we bought the country out of bread.
And that turned into... There was looting at a particular shop in Tala as well.
Yeah.
Which became a meme later.
It was a massive meme. Someone got, was it like a JCB and just kind of knocked the window down in Lidl. But yeah, anyways. Now the shelves are completely empty.
Yeah.
So what I think started this was, there was an article kind of floating around back in February.
Yeah.
And it was telling people all the things you need for a pandemic.
Yeah.
It was shit like water, pasta, rice, canned things, and toilet paper.
Yeah. So
if people read this, that's going to stick with them.
Yeah.
I think that's where it came from. Because we've never seen... Even when here in Ireland, there's a lot of snow and we know we won't be able to leave the house for a couple of days.
Yeah.
You don't see people panic buying toilet roll.
No, God no.
I've never seen that.
I've never seen it either. I went into our local Aldi. When was it? Friday?
Yeah.
Friday, and there was no toilet roll.
Yeah.
Whatsoever.
Yeah.
There was no hand wash or hand sanitizer or wipes or nappies.
No.
There was no pasta.
Yeah.
Very, very little rice.
Yeah.
Very, very little meat. Mm-hmm. Plenty of vegetables and fruit, though. They were full.
That shit goes off very quickly.
But it does go
off.
off.
And I don't like Aldi fruit and veg. That goes off very quickly.
But even that was... Some things of that were starting to look a bit low.
Yeah.
There was no, There was very, very little sort of pasta sauce and things like that.
When we went on the Wednesday, there was no rice.
Yeah. It's hard now to do your own... The thing is now it's hard not to join in with the panic buying. Because
you need the stuff.
Because, say, if we're running out of food because it's our weekly shop...
Yeah.
And everyone's already bought it, then what do we do when we...
Exactly. So, people are rushing out and they're buying these essentials.
Yeah.
But there's so many problems with this. So the first problem, I think, is stockpiling. It leaves nothing for people who are living paycheck to paycheck.
No. Or
the elderly people who have to wait for their pensions before they can go out and do their weekly shop. They're not able to get anything that they need.
No.
I know my cousin, she had to go around to several different shops just to buy a Calpol for her sick child.
Yeah.
Because people think that their child is going to get so sick that they need 20 bottles of fucking Calpol.
Nobody needs 20 bottles of Calpol.
Get fucked. You don't need it.
But I don't understand it myself. I really don't.
Do you remember, I saw the heartbreaking photo of this old lady in the shop and she's looking for toilet roll.
Yeah. Now, what's she going to do without toilet roll?
It's disgusting, and I am so angry with people. But like you said, it's so hard not to fall in with it because you need the stuff as well. Yeah. You know, like, what are you going to do? Like, you know the shops aren't going to be full tomorrow.
The difference is that we'd maybe buy 2 packets of the 4 rolls.
Yeah.
And some people are buying 10 packets of the 4 rolls.
I saw someone going into work on Friday, and she came out with, I think, about 64 rolls of toilet paper.
That's disgusting.
From Home Savers.
Nobody needs that amount of toilet paper.
Like, the symptoms of this virus isn't shitting yourself.
No.
Like, what do you need it for?
You're only hoarding it because you can.
Yeah.
And it just ruins it for everybody else then.
Yeah. So, another problem with this is these shops are going to need to buy in more stock to meet the demand. What happens when that demand is gone?
Yeah.
They're left with this stock, these meats, these... Toilet paper, not so bad, because that will sell eventually.
Yeah.
But stuff that's going to go off, stuff that, you know, fruit, veg, even jars go off eventually.
Yeah. They're going to have a massive problem storing it and shifting it.
You know, they're going to be left with items they're forced to sell at a loss.
Yeah.
Or stuff that they're going to have to throw away, which is going to lead to small businesses shutting.
Yeah.
And we'll come to that in your point, I'm sure. But, you know, it's ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
And another fucking shitty thing I've seen is the ridiculous markup on things like hand sanitizer and face masks.
Oh, the price gouging.
So here in Ireland, there was a shop selling homemade hand sanitizer in small little travel bottles, so less than 100ml, for almost €10.
That's disgusting.
Something that would usually cost maybe €2-3
at the most. Some places used to sell it for like 99 cents.
Yeah, exactly. So I know people who have children who are very sick. I know a woman who her child has cancer or had cancer. So his immune system is very low.
Yeah.
She needs things to be sanitized.
So the best way to do it is alcohol hand sanitizer.
Which she's not able to get now.
Yeah.
Because if she can find it, she can't afford it because it's so expensive. Or B, it's bought out.
Yeah.
Like, what's the average person going to do with 17 bottles of fucking hand sanitizer? You're not going to use it.
No, of course not.
Give it to someone like this woman who needs it.
Yeah. Like, there was that guy who we were watching a video about earlier who bought like 17,000 bottles of hand sanitizer.
And now he's complaining that he has nowhere to sell it.
And because Amazon has stopped this price gouging thing, which is good on Amazon actually.
And I know that Google, they've blocked all Google shopping ads for face masks and hand sanitizer.
Yeah, like there are things that have been done against it, but these people then have a massive stock of stuff.
Yeah, and another one is the blatant racism.
Yeah, I've noticed that being a thing.
There's Chinese restaurants, they're kind of experiencing like a massive decline in business because people don't want to go there because they think they'll get the coronavirus. I
saw when it hit South Korea, I'll say my friend in South Korea, I saw their Instagram stories and a lot of the restaurants were putting signs up saying no foreigners, no Chinese people, etc., etc.
Which is disgusting and completely not okay.
No, it's really not okay. Just talk about the sort of economic impact that this is going to have. It's already having. Following the markets, like, they are going down.
The stock market's plummeted by, I think, 6%.
Something like that. And that's the same all across the world. It's tipping us into another recession, basically.
Yeah.
But not a recession like the last one, which was bad housing and things. It's a totally different type of recession. It's probably easier to recover from.
Yeah.
But there's already been casualties, like the regional airliner Flybe, they've gone under because of it. BA are going to cut half the staff. Virgin Atlantic are begging the government for a bailout already. Like,
that's awful.
And then there's all the industries that support them.
Yeah.
That'll
the fuel industries and
hospitality, catering, and all that kind of stuff. And
exactly, tourism.
Tourism as a general, and then all the industries that tourism props up, and it just cascades down and down and down.
Like, you think about all the countries that rely on tourism.
Yeah.
Ibiza, for one.
Ireland, for another one.
Yeah.
Like,
we rely a lot on tourism.
So it's going to be a very interesting couple of months going forward, I think.
Yeah. So it wouldn't be us if we didn't, like, talk about, like, the conspiracies and stuff like that. But I do want to say that this is not the thing that you should be focusing on. You shouldn't be focusing on who's to blame or anything like that. This is just, you know, to get your minds thinking a little bit.
Yeah.
So, for one, there's a research lab in Wuhan called the Wuhan Institute of Virology.
Convenient.
Yeah. And we also know earlier that we don't 100% know where the virus started.
Exactly.
There are a lot of conspiracy theories surrounding this research lab. One being that the virus was actually engineered in the lab to be used as a bioweapon.
Wow. That's scary.
Which makes, if you think about it, if the genome sequence of the virus is 96% related to bats, what about the other 4%?
Yeah. Yeah. And if you think of the action of the virus as well, it's not killing many people.
It's just highly infectious.
It's very infectious. Now, we've sort of talked about this before. Could this have been like a building block of another virus?
Yeah.
They wanted that sort of infectivity.
Yeah.
And then they think of when you're playing Plague Inc.
Yeah.
You spread your virus around the world first.
And then you ramp up
you ramp up the lethality of it.
Yeah.
It feels real dirty talking about that now.
It does. So another theory is that the virus was leaked from there after being extracted from animals and being studied there.
Yeah.
Although I'm not sure kind of how much authenticity that has, because the biosafety level of the lab is level 4, which is
the highest.
It's the highest.
It is the highest.
So I don't know how real that could be.
Yeah. But accidents do happen.
But radio hosts all over the world have kind of stated that they think this is the case also.
Yeah.
And we also know that China has an overpopulation problem.
Yeah.
Which could be one of the reasons why it was released there.
But that's mega tinfoil hat territory.
Oh yeah, but that's where we're going with this.
Yeah.
But again, this isn't the thing to focus on.
No. The other thing that's worth mentioning is there are some Chinese whistleblowers that have disappeared, unfortunately. Now, we all know that China likes some good old-fashioned state censorship.
Yes.
And this COVID-19 outbreak is no exception. So we already know what happened tragically to Dr. Lee, who should be hailed as some kind of hero, because if people had listened to him, maybe things had been different. I don't know.
Yeah.
But there's been several other people who've gone missing since they're speaking out against the government. So there's a Chinese law professor called... Oh, fuck me. What is it when it's XU?
Zhu
Zhangrun. I'm so sorry. Spoke out against the government's handling of the situation in a scathing article online. As soon as it was published, within sort of 10 hours, the essay was taken offline, and Zhu was placed under house arrest, cut off from the internet, and scrubbed from all social media sites.
Fucking
He
hell.
was even held under armed guard for a while.
Yeah.
And when his family tried contacting him, all they got out of him was, "I am fine."
Oh,
So that's
dirty.
dirty. That's dirty. Another activist was a Zhu Zhangyong. So sorry again. Published another article in social media urging the Chinese Prime Minister or President to step down. This gentleman's actually been in trouble before for upsetting the government, and he was in prison for about 4 years.
Oh, shit.
So he's done it again. And after spending 2 months on the run, he's been arrested and has not been heard from since. There's another Chinese lawyer and a journalist called Cheng Kuishi. So sorry. Went missing. He traveled. This is the guy you saw with the YouTube. So he travelled to Wuhan in late January and uploaded more than 100 posts from Wuhan to his Twitter and YouTube accounts over 2 weeks.
Yeah.
His videos showed overwhelmed hospitals and medical wards and generally how bad things were. Chen's friends and family have been unable to reach him since February the 6th, according to posts on his Twitter account, and they say he was forcibly quarantined by Wuhan's police. His Weibo account, which had more than 740,000 followers, was shut down on the day of his disappearance.
Sneaky.
So that's just a few of the people who've gone missing.
Yeah.
And this is typical state censorship. Make people disappear.
Which is quite scary.
Very, very scary.
Okay. So naturally with a pandemic, it's going to be the main headline of every news source for quite a while. But I just want to point out some things that have gone conveniently under the radar.
Yes.
In Ireland, we recently had an election. We voted for a different party to be in government. We voted for Sinn Féin.
Yeah.
And conveniently, our old government, who we didn't want, has wormed their way back in.
Yeah, I couldn't get my head around this either.
Basically what happened was we voted for Sinn Féin. Sinn Féin didn't have enough seats to form a full government.
Yeah.
So the only way they could do that is with forming with another party. But no other party other than Fianna Fáil or Fine Gael had enough seats to be joined with Sinn Féin to form a government. And neither of those wanted to form with Sinn Féin. So Fianna Fáil and Fine Gael, who were the old government, they formed together and now they're back in power.
And literally nothing's changed.
Literally nothing's changed. And
even down to the T-shirt, nothing's changed.
No, nothing has changed. And no one's talking about it.
Nope.
Another thing is in the US, now is peak time for political lobbying with the upcoming presidential election.
Yeah.
Nothing. Which is quite scary.
Yeah. Although it's good that, for once, policies aren't being lobbied, because that means that actual policies might get made.
Or are we just not seeing...
Or are we not seeing the lobbying now?
That's what
that's
I'm
probably
concerned
more
about.
likely what's happening.
And another thing is Brexit.
Yeah, what happened to that?
What's going on with that? So the EU left the EU on the 31st of January, and...
Crickets.
And what?
And what? No one really knows.
No one knows. So all those things, they're quite big things that have worldwide consequences, apart from Ireland, that just affects us. But
Yeah.
I feel like it should be talked about because it affects us.
Yeah.
They have worldwide consequences and no one's talking
And I'm sure there's more as well.
Yeah. No one's talking about them.
No one's talking about it. So, in the face of like a crisis and a pandemic, it can be quite a scary time. So, we thought it might be a good idea just to give some ideas of what we think you can do
Yeah.
to sort of help in the situation.
Yeah.
And the first one on my little list is wash your damn hands.
Wash your hands.
Like, it's scary the amount of people who think washing your hands is a new idea.
Like, I'm not going to lie, like, you know, I started washing my hands quite a bit now. I didn't used to wash them a lot before. Like, obviously, like, after using a toilet in a public place, like, I'd wash my hands.
Yeah.
And, you know, like, after washing them at home, probably, like, if there was, like, no soap, I wouldn't probably go looking for it. Like, I just admitted that.
Nasty.
You're
nasty.
But, like, I wouldn't, because I saw no reason to.
Yeah.
And I know that's probably, like, really fucking gross, but, like, let's be real. How many other people do that? Or did that? And
I only ever used to wash my hands so much because I'm in the water industry.
Yeah.
That's the only reason I did.
Like, I just admitted that I didn't wash my hands that much, like, on a really, like, a podcast, but...
Nasty.
I feel that, like, it's okay because I know other people.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
Do it
Not
as
other
well.
people didn't like. And people didn't wash their hands properly either.
No.
Like a quick...
They just
Done.
run their hands under the water.
Yeah. No, so to wash your hands...
You sing happy birthday 2 times.
Yeah, while rubbing with preferably antibacterial soap and hot water.
Yeah.
Getting all the little fucking crevices and cracks and everything.
Yeah.
And then rinse dry.
Rinse dry.
Paper towels are better.
Yeah.
Hot air blowers are good.
No, only certain hot air blowers.
But only certain ones.
Because some of them can harbour bacteria in the actual blowers, and then they just blow the
And just
bacteria
blow it all over your hands.
right
So
onto your hands.
paper towels are good.
Yeah.
Towels, if it's your own towels.
If it's your own towels, it's okay. Like,
hand sanitizer, used frequently and often.
it doesn't take it. It's not. What am I trying to say here?
Doesn't replace washing your hands.
It doesn't replace washing your hands. If your hands are dirty,
hand sanitizer isn't going to cut it.
no, wash your damn fucking hands.
Yeah, wash your damn hands. And
But-
don't touch your face either.
No, I only realised through all this how much I like to touch my face.
Yeah, I'm just as bad. I like to stroke my beard.
Yeah.
And
I like when I'm sitting at my desk, I have like my hand
Yeah.
under my chin and I'm like touching my face all over the place. And
yeah, so.
Yeah.
And another good thing to do as well, if you've got sterilising wipes of any kind or anything like that.
Sterilise everything that you touch.
Doorknobs, phone, vape or anything if you've got anything like that.
Yeah.
Steering wheel, gear stick,
Yeah.
door handles.
Yeah.
Anything like that can...
Hand railings.
Hand railings if you touch them frequently.
Yeah. Taps.
Taps.
Or faucets.
Faucets, whatever.
The handles of those.
Yeah.
Just sterilise those.
Latex gloves aren't a bad shout either if you're going to be out in public.
They are, but you have to be very careful with how you use them. I see people that are wearing these gloves and they're still touching their face.
Yeah, obviously don't be touching your damn face. Like,
No.
use latex gloves as an outside barrier.
Yeah, and you have to be very careful when you take them off.
Yeah. But if used properly, they're pretty good.
Yeah.
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 So try not to put yourself in a situation where you can be infected.
So don't be going to massive gatherings.
Yeah.
Don't go to the pub.
We know it's a pain in the hole, and you know it's kind of killing your fun.
Yeah.
But is a couple of pints down at the pub really worth it?
It's not.
You know, once all this is gone, you can
Yeah.
have pints to your heart's content.
Yeah.
Basically. So there's that as well. If you can work from home, work from home. If you can't, try and take any precautions you can to limit your exposure.
Yeah.
I cannot stress this enough, people. Do not panic buy anything.
No.
Don't
the shops
do it.
will still be open.
Like, even in Italy, chemists and groceries are still open.
because they know people need their food and their meds.
You are not going to starve.
No.
Don't panic buy anything.
You're gonna be okay.
Like, that's... If you don't take anything else away from this, take this away. Please do not panic buy anything.
Yeah.
Because it's not just you that needs stuff.
It's everyone. Like, the people mass buying hand sanitizer and shit. You do realise other people need to do it as well.
Just because you've got 17 bottles, the dear old lady down the road now has no bottles.
Yeah.
Basically.
And she's more at risk of getting seriously ill from it than you.
Yes.
So just don't be selfish.
Basically, don't be selfish. If you do have symptoms, ring your local healthcare provider and follow their instructions.
Yeah, like your GP or your, I don't know what the Americans call it. Your doctor.
Clinic or whatever.
Yeah.
I know here, if you're to ring the out-of-hours doctor or your local doctor, you should have a test coming out to you as quickly as possible. Should. And then after that, you'll be advised what to do. Probably self-isolate and etc., etc.
Exactly.
If there are restrictions and rules in your area, follow them, even if they seem crazy and over the top.
Yeah.
So, if there's an advisement for no gatherings over 500 people...
Or over 100 people.
Or over 100 people inside, don't go down to the pub and cram it full.
Just because the pubs are open doesn't mean that it's safe to be open.
Yeah. Like, all you're doing is putting yourself and other people at risk.
Yeah.
So, I know it sounds over the top now, but like we said earlier, anything done to prevent a pandemic seems over the top until it's needed.
Yeah.
Like, I bet it doesn't seem over the top in places like Wuhan and Italy now.
Exactly.
So, there's that. And I'm saying don't panic buy, but at the same time, do try and prepare for being quarantined for an extended amount of time.
Yeah. Now,
there's a difference between panic buying and buying an extra bag of pasta with your local weekly shop.
Yeah.
I'm saying be prepared. I'm not saying fill your trolley full of shit you're not going to need.
Yeah.
Basically.
Exactly.
Use a bit of fucking common sense.
We're not in the zombie apocalypse. Yeah, it's pandemic, but it's not an apocalypse.
Yeah. So...
we will be okay.
Yeah. We will. There's nothing wrong with grabbing an extra cup, like a bag of pasta and an extra couple of cans of food with your weekly shop.
Yeah.
But filling your car boot full of toilet roll and hand sanitizer, no.
No, that's a bit ridiculous.
Fucking stupid.
Yeah.
So,
what else you got?
The last thing is just look out for other people in your community.
Yeah.
As much as you can. I've seen lots of heartwarming things of notes getting passed around saying if you need food delivered, call this number.
I know where we live, there's a load of local community support groups.
Yeah.
Where they give you a number and you ring them if you need food delivered.
And they'll deliver it for you.
Or even if you just want to chat.
Yeah.
They'll come over and they'll chat to you. It's really heartwarming.
Yeah. So that's...
another thing I want to say, before you finish up, is don't travel.
Yeah.
Don't travel anywhere.
No.
Now is not the time to travel.
No.
I don't care if you spend €100 on your holiday or €1,000 on your holiday. It's just not worth it.
Yeah.
Cancel your fucking trips. Just because the flights are going, it doesn't mean that it's safe to go.
No. And I think we'll find in the next couple of days or week or so that the flights won't be going anyway.
Yeah, so you'll probably end up stuck there, or you won't be able to enjoy yourself because you're constantly worrying about getting this virus.
Yeah. So save your holidays for later.
That's probably what we're going to do.
Yeah, that's probably what we're... If things don't turn around incredibly drastically in the next week or so, that's probably what's going to happen with us.
Exactly.
So...
it just feels like it's a bad dream.
Yeah.
It's not waking up from.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So, that's that. That's all I've got.
So, I do want to say as well is don't pay attention to headlines.
No.
They are so sensationalist and they're made to cause panic.
Yeah.
These websites and newspapers, they make money off you clicking in there.
Of course they do.
Because they show their ads.
Yeah.
When the ads are shown, they get money. If you're worried about a headline, go to a reputable news source.
Yeah.
Or go to, WHO.
Yeah. Or whatever your local health agency's called. Here it's the HSE.
Yeah.
In the UK it's the NHS. Yeah. Whatever the equivalent of that in your country is.
Yeah. Now, that's not to say this isn't serious. This should be taken very seriously. But feeding into sensationalist headlines is not okay. And these conspiracy theories that we talked about, they shouldn't be the focus of everyone's attention.
No, they shouldn't be.
The focus of everyone's attention at the moment should be what we can do as a community to stop the spread of this virus.
Yeah, and to beat it. And ultimately beat it.
Yeah.
So...
you want to tell your kids when you grow up, oh yeah, I survived a pandemic.
Yeah.
You want to be able to do that. You want to be me and my family survived a pandemic.
So...
And you're not going to do that if you're not taking all these preventative measures.
No. So, and that's really all I've got to.
Yeah, that's all I've got to say, and I don't really want to talk about it anymore.
No.
I am done.
Although I would say, for good, up-to-date news, r/coronavirus.
Yeah.
They are good on there. The moderators are good on there.
Yeah.
It's all relevant stuff.
Yeah.
It's all...
You just have to weed through it to find stuff that's relevant to your country.
Yeah, there's filters you can set for USA, Europe and whatever. So if you do want information that's not on the HSE website or whatever, try r/coronavirus.
Yeah, exactly.
It's a curated lump of news of what's going on.
Okay.
So,
we done?
We're done. Be safe, kids.
Okay. So, if you like that episode, you can find us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
An excellent thing to do if quarantined is listen to all the back episodes. Just saying.
You can do that. At Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at Spectral Asylum. You can also support us on Patreon if you can.
Yeah.
Patreon.com/Spectral Asylum.
If you're spending all your money on hand sanitizer, we do understand.
Yeah, that's fine. And also, we are on YouTube. Just search for Spectral Asylum. The link will be in the show notes. And as always, we'd like to thank our inmates on Patreon, Ray, Walden, D. Darby, and Ed.
Good luck, guys. Be safe.
Be safe, guys. We'll hopefully see you in 2 weeks.
Hopefully.
Fingers crossed. Jesus Christ.
Bye-bye.
Stay safe. Bye.
Bye.